Ever had one of those family dinners where things just get awkward? Today's story is exactly about that, sent in by a girl we'll call Alice. It's about a Thanksgiving dinner where the masks finally came off. Alice is 27. She has a sister whose husband, Victor, is 32. For as long as she's known him, Victor has been obsessed with comparing himself to Alice's younger brother, who's just 22. Her brother is handsome, smart, and already has a clear life plan and a great job. Victor, on the other hand, works part-time as a delivery courier while his genius business startups fail one after another. So, naturally, the success of a 22-year-old is like salt in his wound. Every time the family gets together, Victor turns into this passive-aggressive benefactor, making nasty jokes about the brother, disguising his jealousy as humor. Everyone just laughs awkwardly and changes the subject, not wanting to spoil the evening. But this past Thanksgiving, something snapped. Alice had a terribly hard day. She came to dinner exhausted, hungry, and on the verge of an emotional breakdown. All she wanted was to eat her turkey in peace. But right in the middle of dinner, Victor dropped his classic line, "Oh, yes, in this house everything is so perfect. Maybe I should just give your brother the remote to my life, since he's such a prodigy and knows everything." The usual tense laughter followed. And at that moment, something clicked in Alice. She didn't raise her voice. She just looked him straight in the eye and said calmly, "You are a pathetic and envious man, Victor. And listening to you project your failures onto my brother for years is just unbearable. We're all sick of it." The silence in the room was so thick you could hear a fork drop. You know that moment when someone finally says what everyone's been thinking for years but was too afraid to voice. And what did Alice do? She just kept eating her turkey. No drama, no excuses. She just dropped the truth and went back to her meal. But of course, the family's peacekeeping siren, her sister, immediately went off. She attacked Alice, saying she was rude and had crossed every line. "How could you say that?" she shouted. "It's already hard for him. He's trying to raise a business. It hurts him to see that a younger kid has already achieved everything. He just needs support." The rest of the evening was an icy hell. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. No one openly supported Victor, but no one stood up for Alice either. Everyone just stared at their plates, wishing the night would end. Later, as they were leaving, her younger brother came up to her and quietly said, "Thank you, sister. I needed that." He admitted he'd gotten so used to Victor's constant jabs that he just learned to tune him out. That hit Alice hard. Can you imagine? Her 22-year-old brother had been carrying this for years while the family pretended everything was fine, just to keep the peace at the table. Now, the whole family is angry with Alice. They say she ruined the holiday, embarrassed her sister, and needs to apologize for the sake of general peace. They think she was too cruel to poor Victor. Yes, her words were harsh. Yes, the timing was bad. But she was tired of pretending his behavior was normal. Is she the villain here? Let's be honest, Alice is the hero of this Thanksgiving. Sometimes keeping the peace is just a polite name for cowardice. Why should a young man be a punching bag for an insecure 30-year-old? Victor's career struggles are his own problem, not an excuse to poison someone else's life. The comments under her original post were amazing. One person, Julia, noted, "Victor is a grown man who masquerades his failure as a joke. It's pathetic. No one should get used to toxicity at the dinner table." Another offered a brilliant apology script. "I'd write to my sister, I apologize for what happened. I should have said this 5 years ago when your husband's little jabs started making our gatherings unbearable. If I had, I wouldn't have snapped now. I don't apologize for my words, but I'm sorry it came out so abruptly." Alice herself added an important detail. "We tried to talk to him about his business, offered help, but he acts like he is the next Elon Musk, and we were all just cowards who are afraid of risk. This arrogance combined with zero results is what's most annoying." But the best response came from a user named McFlay. "I will never apologize for being the only person in this family with the courage to protect my brother. He is not to blame for being successful. And it is just a pity to put the feelings of an offended man-child above the dignity of your own brother." I completely agree. Family should be a place of support, not a place where you're used as a stress ball. But friends, just when we thought this was a story about an envious brother-in-law, it took a much darker turn. The truth that came out was just the tip of the iceberg. Alice reached out again, and what she revealed was chilling. She and her sister were never super close, and only now is she realizing how much she missed. It turns out Victor has been a tyrant for years. No physical abuse that they know of, but constant emotional pressure and total control. Her sister was terrified of him. A year ago, she confided in their mother but begged her not to say anything to not make it worse. Now Alice understands why her parents were so desperate for her to apologize. They weren't protecting Victor, they were trying to protect her sister. They knew he was unpredictable and feared Alice's words would provoke him. And they were right. A few days after that dinner, Victor completely lost it. He got drunk, accused his wife of letting her family embarrass him, and went on a rampage. He smashed furniture, broke dishes, and screamed at her. In the middle of the night, she called her parents, begging them to come get her. She's with them now, in shock, barely speaking. They don't know if she'll find the strength to leave him for good. Alice's truth bomb became a catalyst. Many commenters are saying it's a blessing in disguise. Painful, yes, but it forced the issue into the open. If Alice had stayed silent, her sister would still be suffering. What if kids had been involved? When Alice went to visit her sister, she was like a shadow of her former self. And then she said something terrifying: "If you had just apologized, he wouldn't have gotten so angry. We could go back to normal life. Please, just apologize to him." She blames Alice. She blames herself. She thinks a simple apology can fix a broken, abusive man. Alice is horrified. She doesn't want to hurt her sister, who is so fragile right now, but she's afraid that giving in would send her right back to hell. Should she pretend to apologize for her sister's peace of mind, or would that just reinforce Victor's power over her? This is a gut-wrenching dilemma. One top comment reads, "No way, don't apologize." This is exactly what he has taught her to do: look for blame in others, not in his actions. Just be there. Show her the difference between your parents' peaceful home and his chaos. The contrast will do the work for you. Another viewer added, "I hope she finds the strength to leave." On average, a woman needs 7 attempts to finally break with an abuser. Don't abandon her if she returns to him. It took me 9 years and 2 attempts to save myself. Friends, this story is a painful reminder that behind closed doors, things can be happening that we know nothing about. Alice wasn't wrong to stand up to Victor. She just didn't know how deep his sickness ran. Right now, the most important thing is her sister's safety. Apologies don't cure abusers, they just signal that their methods work. If you or someone you know is in a similar situation, please know there is help available. We'll link resources in the description. Your safety is the priority. What do you think? Should Alice make a deal with her conscience and apologize for a false sense of peace, or stand her ground? Let us know in the comments. Take care of yourselves and be attentive to your loved ones. No peace in the family is worth your safety and dignity. Thank you for being with us today. Your support helps us tell these important stories. Subscribe for more. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.